Hello everybody, I hope you are all doing great despite the cold weather. Welcome to my channel. My name is Lydia and today we are going to cook matumbo. Matumbo is a good source of protein. Yes, it is a good source of protein among other minerals such as potassium. Now I know many of you say that matumbo has no nutritional value, but I've already done my research from reliable sources and I have found that matumbo has protein and has minerals. Yes, make Google your friend, my people. If you have anything that you are not sure about, just go to Google and make sure you are getting information from a good, reliable source so that you can know more about our everyday life. Let me say that. Well, as you can see, I'm washing my matumbo. When I buy matumbo from the butchery, I ask the butcher to not cut for me so that when I get home I can wash the matumbo thoroughly through running water. As you can see, this is so as to remove some particles, some sand particles that get stuck on this thing that looks like a blanket. You can see me washing it thoroughly, scrubbing through so that I can remove those. You don't want those particles. You don't want those mchanga in your mouth when you're eating and you're crushing things. Okay. After that, I boil my matumbo in a pressure cooker. And the next step is making it a stew, making. I saute my onions first. Fry the onions until they are translucent or tender. You can see there I'm adding at the side there's some green pepper, and of course I use stems from the dania. I don't throw away the stem from the coriander. I use them to enhance more taste. So don't throw away your coriander stalks. You can saute them together with your onions, or right after the onions are done being sauteed, you can add those the stems from the coriander and your green pepper to enhance more flavor. And also I use ginger and garlic, just a tiny bit, so that it doesn't overpower the flavor from the matumbo. You don't want that. You don't want to feel that any flavor from the garlic and the ginger. You need to have that flavor of the matumbo. You can see I've added just a tiny bit of garlic and ginger. Give it a quick stir. Then I add my green pepper and the stems from the coriander. Yes, getting all the stuff from the plate. Give it a quick stir. At this point, you don't have to cook down the green pepper. Just toss around until fragrant. Just a few seconds. And then the next step is adding my pre-boiled matumbo. I boil my matumbo in a pressure cooker. That takes around 10 minutes. If you are in a hurry, you can use the pressure cooker, or you can just boil your matumbo in on a jiko, which takes a long time because matumbo tends to be a bit tough. So at this point I'm adding my pre-boiled matumbo. You see that stalk there? Don't throw away that stalk. That is what we are going to add as our stock, as our soup, or as our stew. whatever you want to call it. Just add your matumbo. Yes, drain all the excess water. Now what you're going to do is just toss around the matumbo in this goodness of the onions and the garlic, ginger, green peppers. Just toss around so that all the matumbo can be coated. At this point it looks great, but for me I prefer adding some stock. Some people prefer the dry fry matumbo, but for me I prefer wet fry. Just toss around. Then at this point you're going to season your matumbo. I season my matumbo using Rico cubes. Today I'm using 4 cubes, and please note guys, Rico cubes have a lot of salt, so you need to go easy on them. And whenever you are using Rico cubes, you don't have to use salt, because this way you might oversalt your food, and we don't want that. So in this dish I didn't use any salt, I just used the Rico cubes. Give them a quick stir, then add your tomatoes. For me, I prefer blending my tomatoes because I don't like the way the tomatoes, when you cut them and you put them in the food, the way they appear, those two tiny things look like sindano. I don't like that. So that way I prefer blending my tomatoes, or you can peel them if you have time. And if you don't mind those two tiny pieces in your food, you can just go ahead and cut your tomatoes. Do you? This is me. I like blending my tomatoes. Then at this point I'm going to stir my matumbo together with the tomatoes, the blended tomatoes, and add the stock that I showed you earlier in my pressure cooker. Add your desired amount of the stock. If you want to obey your ancestors with adding a lot of soup, you can just go ahead, but for me I don't like too much soup in my matumbo, so I just add kidogo. And by the time this simmers down, that water will be sorry, I was cut short as I was doing my voiceover, so let's continue. You can see all the goodness inside there. Now I'm going to add the stock that I used, that remained when boiling the matumbo. You can add more or maybe less. For me that is enough. And as I had mentioned earlier, by the time this simmers down, the stew will reduce. Okay, now you can see here I'm adding some coriander. This is the final and the last step. Some coriander leaves, finely chopped coriander leaves. or dania. Give it a quick stir, and my matumbo is done. I'm going to serve this with terere and managu and some hot ugali. Yes, thank you everybody for coming through. Like, share and subscribe. Always do good. Bye bye.